All right, everyone, this is a huge acquisition that I just got. An original silver Marcus Aurelius denarius. This is one of the coolest coins I've ever gotten. It's from the reign of Marcus Aurelius, also known as the Philosopher Emperor, who ruled Rome from 161 to 180 AD. He was also remembered as the last of the 5 good emperors, which shows how well regarded he is as a ruler in ancient Rome. He is famous for fighting Germanic tribes. He also faced an extreme plague that killed millions of people across the Roman Empire. And he ruled for 20 years. And he is famous for quoting, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is a fragment of a coin minted in the Duchy of Athens sometime between 1200 and 1300 AD. The Duchy of Athens was a crusader state that emerged from the wreckage of Byzantium after the Crusaders in the Fourth Crusade captured Constantinople in 1204. Instead of continuing to the Holy Land, the Crusaders carved up Greek territories into feudal states ruled by Western knights. Athens fell to Otto de la Roche, a Burgundian French nobleman who established himself as Lord of Athens and Thebes. Initially, his title was modest, Lord of Athens, but by 1211, his successor adopted the more prestigious title Duke of Athens, reflecting both ambition and the region's strategic importance. Despite ruling from that city that symbolized classical Greek civilization, the Frankish dukes showed little interest in ancient heritage. The Parthenon was converted into a Catholic cathedral, and Athens became the small but functional feudal capital within the Latin world. Here we have my favorite coin in my entire coin collection. It's this beautiful silver denarius, and it was minted during the reign of Trajan in the year 109 AD in Rome. And as you can see, it's about 1900 years old, but it still shines because it's silver, and it's very beautiful. I really like this piece. I turned it into a necklace with the bezel there. And if you can see on the back, you can see the SPQR, Senatus Publicus K Romanus, the symbol, the initials of the Roman Empire there. And this coin, I also turned into a necklace, is, I believe, from the reign of Maximian in the late 3rd century. I believe it. I'm just speculating on that. I don't know for sure on this one. But on the back, I think it's the deity Genius there. So they had geniuses or deities on the back of their coins, and then on the front they had the emperor's face. And you can see on there, you can see the lines in his beard, kind of, if you look at it in the right light, which is kind of cool because it's like a lot of details that are still visible on the visage of this emperor. So it's very cool. Here are some shipwreck coins that I had turned into jewelry. This one, that's the silver one, is from a ship called the Atocha. This was a Spanish galleon that sank in the year 1622 off the Florida Keys. And this ship was laden heavily with gold and silver that came directly from Panama. So this ship was never found by the Spaniards, but eventually was found in the 20th century by a treasure hunter. And this ship, and this coin right here, was from an English ship that sank in the English Channel in 1808, or perhaps a year after that, but is from the East Indian Trading Company. And this is a company that was so big, it had its own standing army, and it had its own currency that it issued. So this was one of the coins from this is the English East Indian Trading Company. There's a Dutch East Indian, and there's an English one. You can tell that it's English from the Anglia writing on the front of it. Also the lion symbolism there. And it's also in English, so that's another clue. But anyways, these are 2 shipwreck coins, and I think they're interesting that people were able to find these coins and turn them into jewelry. This may not look like much, but this silver sand dollar was actually part of a massive treasure trove. In 1622, a Spanish galleon called the Atocha sank off the Florida Keys. It sank due to a hurricane, and the treasure was never found by the Spaniards. There was a massive amount of gold and silver on this ship when it went down. And eventually, hundreds of years later, in the 20th century, a treasure hunter discovered the shipwreck and recovered all of the precious metals. These beautiful socketed bronze arrowheads were created in modern-day Slovenia between 800 BC and 300 AD. Long before Slovenia became a nation, its land was already a crossroads of European history. Around 800 BC, the region entered the Iron Age, dominated by tribal societies linked to the Hallstatt Celtic culture. These communities lived in fortified hill settlements, worked iron, and traded across the Alps and along the Adriatic. By the 4th and 3rd centuries BC, Celtic tribes, especially the Tarusi, moved into the area. They built large fortified towns called Oppida, minted their own coins, and controlled vital trade routes between Italy, the Balkans, and Central Europe. This made the region both wealthy and a target. Rome began in the 2nd century BC started to conquer this area of the world. By the end of the 1st century BC, the land of modern Slovenia was fully absorbed into the Roman world, divided along the provinces Noricum, Pannonia, Italia, and Dalmatia. Roman rule transformed the region. Cities cropped up all over and became thriving urban centers with roads, baths, forums, and temples. Latin law, Roman culture, and long-distance trade reshaped everyday life, while the region's strategic alpine passes made it crucial to the empire. By the 3rd century AD, however, stability began to crack. Political chaos, economic troubles, and a growing external threats weakened Roman control. Fortifications increased, towns declined, and the regions became a military corridor once again. This coin, minted in 1735, is from the Dutch East India Company, also known as the VOC. The VOC was founded in 1602 and is often considered the first multinational corporation in history. It was created by the Dutch government to unify competing trading companies and strengthen Dutch control over trade in Asia. The VOC, or Dutch East Indian Trading Company, was granted extraordinary powers. It could wage war, sign treaties, build forts, mint coins, and govern territories. Its main goal was to dominate the lucrative spice trade, especially nutmeg, cloves, and pepper. From its headquarters in Batavia, modern-day Jakarta, the company built a vast trading network. This coin was minted during the reign of King Edward I, also known as the Hammer of the Scots, or also known as Edward Longshanks. King Edward I ruled England from 1272 to 1307 and earned a reputation as one of England's most powerful and feared medieval kings. He strengthened royal authority by reforming the law and improving Parliament, helping shape England's legal system. But Edward is best remembered for his brutal military campaigns. He conquered Wales, building massive stone castles to secure control, and tried to do the same in Scotland. His harsh rule there earned him the nickname Hammer of the Scots. Edward was tall, commanding, and relentless, but his ambition came at a high cost in lives and resentment. By the time he died in 1307, Edward I had formed a stronger English state.